What it is a cage. It's like, hey, listen, we got this big juicy steak in here. You walk in, we gonna shut the door on you, but we gonna keep feeding you steak. So
he told me, you know what? I need to talk to you. I get tired of you always finishing all your work all the time.
No, she did.
Yes, she did.
No, she did. She said, you need to stop messing up the curve talk.
No, that's literally what she said. And she said that you make management think that it's possible to do all this work because you're Hey there, everybody. This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron.
This is Elliot.
Hope everybody is having one of those fantastical days today.
Fantastical.
Because I definitely did not. Today was garbage. Work was over the top busy.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like that.
Yeah. It's like, and I called myself working over the weekend for a few hours just to catch up. And then came into work today thinking like, yes,
in 2023,
caught up. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
You giving the boss extra time?
It's not really me giving it to them. To be honest, I have one of those jobs where like...
Are they paying for it?
Not really. But like at the same time, I have the type of job where your workload, it doesn't really matter if you get off on time or not because it doesn't change. Like, it's only my work. No one else does it. No one else helps me with it. And it... No, like, if I don't finish it,
it's still
tomorrow
there.
It's there. If I go on vacation, the next day, it's still there.
Okay.
So it's like... So me working extra was really helping me to be more caught up for Monday. Which, technically speaking, all the stuff that I did was good. But I'm trying to tell you, it just was like trying to mop up the ocean.
Well, I mean, and that's why
how I feel.
You got to be careful because if you have one of those types of jobs, and I do now, right? Yeah. Where like the work is never going to stop. It's always going to be there. You will literally drive yourself crazy trying to stay on top of it in that way. So there might be times where you're just like, hey, listen, I can't do it. This is why the DMV is like it is. This is why people who work for the government, quote unquote, work the way that they do. It's because they work a job where it literally doesn't stop ever.
Well, now, to be honest, most of the time it is like that, right? Yeah. You know me. I'm the always trying to catch up person. So I don't really like to be behind. I remember at my last government job, one of my favorite coworkers, actually, she told me, you know what? I need to talk to you. I get tired of you always finishing all your work all the time.
No, she did.
Yes, she did.
No, she did. She said, you need to stop messing up the curve talk.
No, that's literally what she said. And she said that you make management think that it's possible to do all this work because you're always finishing all your work in the allotted time that they give us.
So wait, you were literally doing the work in the amount of time that they gave you. And
no, I wasn't. Like, I was working over.
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing was, though, I was a superstar.
Wait. Hold on. Okay. Because I don't want to smooth over that.
Management doesn't know that I would work over an hour or two here or there.
And so you were actually throwing off the curve. So she actually needed to correct you. Did you fix it? Clearly not, because you're still doing it.
But the thing is, right, I was working over so little at that job that it wasn't really me throwing off the curve. Honestly, it was certain people weren't able to keep up, right? Now, to be fair, the workload was ridiculous, but you know me. I'm going to figure out how to make a ridiculous situation work. I always have. I always will.
Bro, that's such a hard one because, like, my Chandler-minded brain is like, no, you just got to do what you do,
to be the best.
To be the best.
I don't even want to be super the best.
Right.
I just want to be so good at it that they're like, it's no sense in trying to be better than that guy.
Right.
So let's just get our little piece.
That actually sounds literally like you wanted to be the best.
No, I know. So, like, for example, I would pass second. Like, if this is a relay race, I'm going to pass the second place guy by literally 1 second. That's it. I'm not trying to annihilate the...
So what you're saying is this is the Democratic Party approach to being the best in the office.
Yes and no. Because their approach to being the best is kind of also sucking, but just sucking less. No, I want to be good, but I also want to be the best. They're like, we're okay with sucking if the other guy sucks. So if the other guy sucks,
no, I'm at least got to be...
I'm at least going to be good. So if the other guy's not good at their job, then we're just not going to be close at all.
It's just got to be a blowout.
But if it's a bunch of, like in my last job, it's a bunch of really good people, we're all going to be good at this job.
That's
I'm just gonna be a little better.
That's clearly not what happened. That's clearly you were like, nah, I gotta cheat a little bit. I mean, y'all not getting it done in 8 hours. I gotta.
No, it was no way. Like the thing is, and shout out to them. I love that job. Honestly, I really did, and I still kind of miss it sometimes, even though I don't have any problem with my new job. Mm-hmm. But like that job was so like it was just so much work that at a certain point it was almost funny. It's like like they sent you so many actions.
Another one?
Yeah, at a certain point you just like,
yeah,
you know what? I'm done. I'm done for today.
Yeah,
like for real. And then you
come back the next day, do it all again. And, that's what happens.
Today was super busy for me. I don't know if it was like that for you.
No, it won't.
It was crazy busy for me.
I don't know, bro. Like the problem that I have with my job, in all honesty, is that I am competent at my job. I wouldn't say I'm the best or anything. I can't. Like my job requires you to spend years and years doing the job.
Yeah.
To be the best at it, because there's just so much information that you just like you won't even have the opportunity to learn some of this information until you get a job that specifically has to deal with this particular type of thing. And like sometimes that won't happen to your 4th, 5th, 6th year at the job. So
yeah,
like I'm probably the best in my
your
way,
area,
right? In the amount of people who have started since I've been there, I'm probably the best one of that group, but I'm not the best in the office. But
see, that's how I felt, right?
I mean, that's all.
I want to. The things that I'm responsible for,
right?
I reach the pinnacle, and then I try to keep learning. But of course, there are people that were there for 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
And
you're not. Yeah,
they're leads. They're higher grades than me.
Those are the people that you make your friends. So when you run into something that you're like, I don't know what this is. Hey, person who's been here 10 years, talk to me about this. Walk me through how this is supposed to go.
Or when you find a promotion opportunity, they're gonna push you to the top because you're their buddy.
Yeah, so one of the two.
Also,
nah, bro. I think honestly the problem that I have on my job is just that I have given so many years of my life to be financially stable. Shout out to being financially stable. Okay, that's not a knock on that.
It's a great club, bro.
It is.
I love it. Here.
It's a fantastic club to be in.
Even though,
but now
this inflation is pulling at me like gravity, bro.
Between the inflation and bro, sometimes I understand. So is it a parable? I don't know. There's a story about a king who's just. I think it's actually about literal Buddha, where he like has everything he wants in the world, and now he's like, man, everything sucks now. So, like, the point of that story, I think, is really important. I know, right? That seems like a ridiculous.
So terrible.
Okay, but the point of the story is your actual happiness isn't found in your ability to like acquire things or to like do stuff. It's inside. So you got to figure out what it is inside you that makes you happy, and then you have to start examining those things and try to free yourself from the desire or expectation of things to come to you. That I think is the general principle.
Look at you getting all philosophical.
Wait a minute,
bro.
Hold on, because I'm not Buddhist. Okay, so I don't necessarily believe in all of that.
I don't know if that's 100% accurate.
In my opinion,
we're not studying.
In my opinion, everybody has a little piece. So I think that there is a huge chunk of truth to that. So like at the end of the day, you have to decide what things you're going to allow to affect you, and the things that you can't control that you allow to affect you, you just have to mitigate those as best as possible. Because like if somebody punches you in the face, you're gonna be like, "Ow, that hurt." You're not just gonna be like, "I feel no pain." Like that's not really how that
punch them back.
Yeah, that's not really how that works. I mean, you may not. It just depends on the circumstances that you're.
We're supposed to be turning the other cheek.
Yeah, technically, but
yeah.
If I'm in the cage fight, like I'm not turning the other cheek. You gonna see these hands, but
unless they hit you hard enough.
True, then I might not be seeing anything.
I might be turning
right.
The cheek.
But I mean,
hit me again.
At a certain point, when you're financially stable, now you start looking at, okay, what am I getting for what I'm giving away? And like now, I'm starting to feel that, man, I spend all my time doing stuff I really don't want to do. So like by the time I finish at work, I get there at like 7 a.m. I don't leave most days till like 5, which is not like, that's not crazy. There's other people. I've worked longer hours. I used to work doubles all the time. Other people work at other jobs that suck. But like I get home, I'm tired. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to go nowhere. I'm lucky I don't have kids, so I get to like reclaim like an hour or two of that time. But then I got to go to bed and, wake up the next day. And I kind of hate it. So now I'm just kind of battling with myself about,
Well, you and I have already discussed the remedy to that. But...
Well, I mean, there are multiple remedies to that.
Yeah, but, okay. My remedy to that. The one that me and my wife use.
It don't sound like you got a remedy.
No, traveling.
That's not a remedy.
Oh, it's totally a remedy.
No. Okay, you feel like it's a remedy because you enjoy traveling.
You haven't had a slice of pizza on a cruise ship in a long time, Elliot. It's been a while. Okay. I'm just telling you, it makes all of the long days like today seem a little bit less long.
I know you think that, oh, Elliot just doesn't travel. You remember.
No, I don't think that. Okay. I think that you don't travel anymore.
Why do you think I stopped traveling?
Because you missed the pizza on the cruise ship?
No. Because I traveled to try and get away from the fact that I was doing stuff I hated. And then
because you went to the wrong places. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're not. You're not sorry. You're not sorry at all. That's okay. No, it's cool.
No, I understand. But I guess you got to find your own remedy. That's why I said my remedy. Because that's what me and Halia do. We travel.
And, I'm
even though we probably not going to go nowhere.
Listen, I try some different stuff, and at the end of the day, it's going to be what it's going to be, because I'm not about to not pay my bills. Like, that's not going to happen. But now I'm at the point in life, and I think most people probably get here, where you start looking at what you got, and you start looking at
what you don't got.
You start looking at what's important to you, and you start trying to figure out how you can use what you got to get more of the stuff that I think is genuinely
that you
important
want
to you. Yeah, and
Yeah, to be honest, I'm getting there too, right? I'm getting work done in the yard, and like I'm trying to beautify my house and my like as we get older, some stuff becomes a lot more important and some stuff doesn't. And I wanted to put a pin in this because we shall return to that conversation. But since you bring up fictional characters.
Did I do that?
No. But since you did.
I did.
Okay.
Just now. Steve Urkel.
Top 3 favorite fictional characters. Go.
What are the criteria for picking these? Like, just any fictional character? 'Cause that's a really wide net.
Yeah, fictional characters that have heavy impact. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Like,
you give me your top 3 so I know what kind of list we're making.
Okay. I would say Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably maybe Simba, and then White Jesus. So we're gonna break these down hilarious to serious. Okay, we're gonna start with White Jesus.
Not White Jesus.
So White Jesus is hilarious because I mean, come on, he's from but he's
from the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah,
blue eyes,
like German looking with the beard,
the straightest,
and the company eyes,
most luxuriously Fabio hair you've ever seen.
Completely disregards all descriptions from the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, why read the book when you could just look at a picture of White Jesus? It'll make you feel so much better.
So much better. And there was this guy, and so there's this guy that does these like trolling interviews, right? So you've seen The Good Liars? That's the guys that go to Trump rallies and they ask them like crazy questions and make them basically lead on to say something crazy.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen Jordan Klepper, so I get the idea.
Okay, so but it's a black guy who does something like that. And so
it's like what's his name? It's not Gideon.
Yeah. So he asks all of these people these questions all the time, and he's got a name for it. And I wish I could find it, but he asked this guy something to the effect of, should we be honest with children? And he's like, yeah. Should we teach children the Bible? He's like, yeah. Oh, here it is. Actually, you know what? I don't even want to give it away. I think I want to try to share it with you. You think you can post it?
Hold on, let me see.
Okay.
Hold on.
I don't even want to give it all away.
You just wanna imply it heavily and then hope I'm gonna get it, is what you're saying.
Hopefully. I should have started with this, huh?
You probably should have started with this.
But if not, we can share it next time. It's no big deal.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on.
I'm gonna take a short intermission here, people.
Nah, no intermissions. So my 3 would probably be something like, I don't know, it'd be like Goku, Harry Potter, who else, bro? Was like actually.
Oh, I like Goku. I like that idea too.
Yeah, Goku's a dope one. Never give up. Not trust your instincts. That would be Star Fox. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know who the third one would be. Those are the 2 that like immediately pop into mind.
I'm thinking, that's why I was saying Spider-Man and Simba, because I think they were pretty big, at least for me as a kid. Like,
yeah. I guess I would probably take Spider-Man too, because honestly, like
Spider-Man 2 was awesome. Doc Ock.
Nah, but like that whole sequence with him and his Uncle Ben that you get to see like 42 times because they retell that story over and over and over again. But like there's something about that story that's actually really it's like really powerful when you're thinking like, oh, nah, it's not gonna work.
Okay, no problem.
Just when you're thinking about the fact that in some iterations of the story, it's almost directly his fault, his lack of care about the fact that he had these powers, and his kind of, oh well, if you're not gonna scratch my back, I'm not gonna scratch yours, directly costed him. And in other iterations, there wasn't a direct one-to-one line like it was in a movie. It wasn't like, oh, you let the guy go and then he killed your uncle, man. It's just some random dude. But I think there is something to be said about like how important it is to be responsible for holding up to your morals even when you don't directly benefit from it.
Yeah, totally.
Because we're talking about being principled in one of the other episodes.
Yeah.
And like, to me, Spider-Man is, or at least that telling of the story is a perfect encapsulation of why being principled is so important.
Yeah, and that cliche-ish but yet very relatable thing of
great power,
mantra. Yeah, like it's your responsibility to help somebody else if you have the ability to do so.
Yeah,
it's like, I think to a degree that kind of goes hand in hand with being a real man, right? To
100% does.
Like you see somebody beside you, you may not have all the answers, but you support them. You try, right? Yeah. And so the thing about Spider-Man that for me is kind of cool is that he's a kid who's just trying to help, but it's also the fact that he fails a lot.
Yeah,
and
it's like.
He's like really trying.
And sometimes he's brutally punished for failing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he gets to stop trying because he gets punished for not, living up to whatever the metric was that day. He dusts himself off and keeps pushing. And like I think that's like it's an easier said than done sort of thing.
Yeah, totally. Because it's so much easier to just be like, I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna fend for myself and just keep my head down.
Yeah, or I'm not gonna try, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows it's not my fault that I'm not trying. It's this and it's that and it's this and it's that.
Yeah, and I would say the greatest personification of that is probably our dad, most likely.
Yeah,
just because I've seen it in action.
Yeah.
Even in moments where, to be honest with you, I don't want him to try to help someone else.
Right.
Moments where you're like, dude, we're trying to go to dinner. Like, stop helping them.
Stop talking to people.
Yeah, but no, he's like, no.
Yeah, hold on, let me take 5 minutes.
It's my responsibility to try.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of taught us,
like,
okay, let me help.
And bro, it's so funny because I think when you see somebody like kind of do that, like, I ain't got none, but I'm gonna take 5 minutes. Oh, you hungry? Here, come on, I'll buy you a burger. Like small stuff like that really like it kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
So like it's really interesting because I feel like there's a lot of like small lessons like that where you really can't learn the lesson like in a conversation or like, oh son, let's sit down, let me tell you about why it's important that you use your great power with great responsibility. Like that's not really how I think a lot of lessons or a lot of the life lessons that you need get learned. I think you have to kind of have an example and you kind of learn by osmosis. You see it over and over again. You see the pattern of like, okay, these are the things that he's doing. These are the things that are occurring. And then like, these are the outcomes or these are the positives that I see from the actions that I've seen taken. I've been watching a whole lot of stuff. Cause I peruse all different areas of the internet. And I've been seeing some really concerning stuff about how high like fatherless homes are. Let me try that sentence again. How high of a percentage the U.S. versus pretty much every other developed nation has of like homes that don't have fathers in them.
Yeah.
And it really made me think. And like, so I started looking in. First, I was like, oh man, 20%. That's like a really high number, especially when the next closest country I think is like, it's like China or India, and I think it's like 5%.
Right. So it's like a drastic difference.
It's like our military budget drastic difference. So when you're talking, I know, right? I mean, I'm just saying.
You're correct.
But when you see like 20% to 5% jump, you're like, okay, something is weird. So of course there's your normal structural stuff where like they took a lot of the means testing and made it, if you got a man in the house, you can't get any assistance from the government, which was automatically you're creating a game where, hey, listen, if I want enough money to feed my kids, I can't have a man around here, so you gotta leave.
To be honest with you, if we could like hop off that rant for a second, unfortunately, a lot of the programs we have in America, like I hate the discussion, the unnuanced discussion people have. You've heard where they're like, oh, well, people here, if you're poor, you get everything, you get this, that, and the third, and these people are lazy and blah blah blah. But in America, I feel like a lot of those programs that are made for poor people trying to get out of poverty, it really makes it to where it's so difficult to let go of it because it's not an off ramp. Right. It really is almost like a tent. Where if you come in here, if you leave,
it's not a tent. What it is a cage. It's like, hey, listen, we got this big juicy steak in here. You walk in, we gonna shut the door on you, but we gonna keep feeding you steak. So if you want it, come on in. Yeah. And I really think like
the incentive structure, in my opinion, is backwards.
That's always
because
been a problem.
I feel like, okay, I'm not saying they shouldn't give to the poor. Like, I think if you really are poor, you should get assistance.
But you should incentivize in the direction that you want society to be moving. So if you want fathers in the house, don't incentivize houses that don't have fathers. Incentivize, hey, listen, if you have a man in your house who is the father of your child and y'all are living together, but the problem is, and this is why a separation between church and state is so important.
I already know where you're going. I'm about to agree
because the whole reason that they even made the law the way that they made it was because they didn't want people shacking up, quote unquote.
Right. And trying to legislate that is not
right. So they didn't say, oh, you can't have, like, we're not going to give you money because the Bible says so. They just said, hey, we're just not going to give you money if you're not married.
Right. Which creates a system where people who could potentially accept that money but be working towards getting off that money
and maybe getting married, maybe cleaning their situations up, etc., are now not doing that, and they are functionally making their lives harder. So just to hop back on where we're at.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking at, kind of the structural stuff, but then there's also like this, I don't know, there's this other piece where it's like the fallout from it, right? So you're looking at the structural stuff, like kind of how did we get there? So you got the piece about the government kind of incentivizing fathers not being at home. You also have the family courts, which make it really, really difficult because their kind of default mindset, at least it was back in the day, and it still is in a lot of places. Well, in some places it's changing, but in a lot of places it still hasn't. Where, the mom is going to be the one that takes care of the kids.
Give the kids
to the mom.
Now, and then, to be fair, in a lot of cases, that is a true statement. The mom is. But that doesn't mean that you need to have a blanket. I feel like a lot of courts basically start with that assumption.
Even when you say in a lot of cases it is, I don't think that's actually true. And I kind of thought the same way you did when I started, just because that's the impression you get. It's like, there's a lot of deadbeat dads out there. There's like dudes who impregnate a bunch of women and they're not really trying to take care of their kids, blah blah blah. And there are those dudes out there. If you're out there, take care of your kids, please. Okay, you're making the whole world worse.
You are making the world worse.
Like, if you don't take care of your kids, if you are getting women pregnant and you're not in those kids' lives, you are making the world a worse place. Public service announcement. But in a lot of cases, there's all of these other small mitigating factors that are playing into it. So there's, the mom is upset because the father doesn't want to be with her anymore. So as punishment, she keeps kids away from the dad.
That I know for a fact happens.
Definitely happens.
Yeah.
Then you also have the dads who are like, listen, I just can't afford to fight to get my kids back.
I actually have a personal friend, a close friend, who dealt with that specifically, where it was like, look, we separating. I don't have the money for
a custody battle.
Yeah, like law, court fights. You know what I'm saying? Lawyers, things like that. Can we just
agree to something?
And then the agreement, unfortunately, he got hosed.
Yeah,
he got hosed badly.
Yeah,
and her family had a lawyer.
You know what I found out?
And money.
And one of the things I found out and just randomly researching this is apparently in some places, the woman just gets a free lawyer from the court. You just get one.
Like a public defender?
Like a public defender, but only for the mom, though. That's what
I don't know.
said.
I haven't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's true.
The way I understand it is basically they give the mom a legal aid basically to help her navigate WIC and some other stuff, but then that person also tends to give them legal advice. Oh, this is what you need to say for this outcome. This is what you need to do for this. This is how you need to do it for this.
Yeah, I think, to kind of try to be constructive, right? I hate you know how much I hate unnuanced conversation.
Of course.
So we could sit here. We could have well, you need to get married before you have kids, and you need to do this and do. Yes, we all know that.
And honestly, I'm not bashing. Like, if you're in a situation where, like, hey, like, it just didn't work out with me and the mom, I think that's avoidable. So, like, the critiques of, well, there are things you could do to avoid landing in that situation are probably accurate. But there's a time and a place, and it doesn't apply to every situation. Sometimes, like, you just didn't know how crazy this person was.
Or maybe, to be honest,
or they weren't. Exactly. They weren't crazy when y'all first started, dating or talking or even getting married. And then over time, either, life or their job or like y'all's dynamic or something caused that person to change, either the man or the woman, and things, grow apart, whatever. Right. So like there are all of these like situations that can occur. But like what frustrates me about the conversation is what's lost in focusing on like the mom and the dad and like how bad marriage and all that stuff is for men, because like that is a big thing on the internet right now. I don't know if you know it or not, but people are like, oh no, men don't need to get married, or if you get married you need to have a prenup because women are out here hosing all these men.
They're tripping. I love being married. It's like,
listen,
awesome.
Okay, but the reason that we love being married is we were very particular about what we were looking for in a wife, and we were very choosy about picking a woman who was good wife material and not necessarily just picking a woman because she was attractive or because she was in front of us or whatever,
or she had money or whatever,
or any of these other like bad reasons to choose. And so I say all that to say there's a guy, his name is Warren Farrell. He wrote a book called The Boy Crisis. I've listened to a bunch of his talks and his seminars, but I have not gotten the book yet. I'm probably gonna actually go buy the book. I just haven't, because he co-authored it, and everything I've read is that the other parts of the book are not as enlightening. But from everything that I've heard him talk about, there is a really profound and stark like difference in kids who have a father in the home or kids who are even like raised by a single father versus kids who are raised by a single mother. And the biggest issue seems to be that there's some confluence of like delayed gratification that you tend to get from your dad. I know we did. And like being able to live in structure. Like, hey, listen, you got to go to bed at this time. You don't get to manipulate your way out of it. You don't get to beg and borrow and steal and cry.
Shout out to Mom, because she definitely fell for the manipulation, bro.
So, and like, so when I see them break it down like that, I'm like, oh man, I remember even when we were young, when we started living back with Dad, I was like, oh, Dad, okay.
Yeah, rules are in place.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that. Remember it was like, all right.
Yeah,
well, we got real rules for real. Like, and Mom had rules, but like
it was never.
Dad had rules,
and it's such a subtle difference, right? Yeah, because when you think about it, it's not at all like we was just out here running wild at Mom's house. Like, no,
sure weren't.
No, absolutely not. But it's different. There's a different. It's like the caliber of expectation. So like the rules are a lot more fluid. They're a lot more soft with Mom. So like, you still got a bedtime, but like some days you might not have to go to bed till 8:30. Yeah, like if the bedtime's 8:00, you might be able to get away with 8:15 every day. And she might be like, you're supposed to be in bed at 8. And then like that's just like the end of it. It's not.
And I think to a degree there is a level of I don't want to say importance. That's not really the right word, but value. A level of value to both of those, right?
Exactly.
And to be honest, not all dads are the same, right? And not all moms are the same.
They're also not.
And so,
but in aggregate, I think that these themes tend to be true. So like the things that I think we got from Mom that were really important are like our ability to empathize with other people, our ability to actually sit like and think about what's being said to us and not just react. Yeah. Like taking the time to just take a minute and like have a calm discussion. Like,
no, I got that more from Dad, but yes.
Well,
Mom was more, like you said, empathy and understanding, and a lot more of, I think, Dad was a lot more cut and dry,
right?
Everything, to the point,
more black and white.
And so,
like, hey, this is how it is. Like, this is, this is where
this is where success comes from.
Yeah,
this is what is accepted, right? And so, I think now, that's why I say there was value to, I think, both perspectives. So I think, unfortunately, I took borrow the old adage, 2-parent household is important because
you really.
I do think you really can miss things, like important things.
And I think the thing, and I'll stop talking about this on this point, right? So the important thing that I took away is it seems like in American society in particular, we seem to have a big problem right now with like delayed gratification and people understanding like why guardrails are important, why certain rules are important, and why you need to follow them even if you don't necessarily agree with them. And then you need to work around those rules or work within the rules to do whatever it is you need to do, or whatever it is you feel like you need to do to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. I think a lot of people are of one of two minds: either, oh, the rules are stupid, so I'm just going to give up, or, oh, the rules are stupid, so I'm just not going to follow them. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Well, I think there's multitude of reasons for that. But first, you also have to keep in mind, as millennials and, Gen Z, we don't.
It's dark out here.
We don't like to listen. Well, I'm just keeping it a buck. We don't. And so now it's not that we don't like to listen. I think it's more so we are the first generation in a long time that is genuinely like, why?
Well, and that's so when you say we don't like to listen, I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's that we don't like to listen. I think it's that we don't just bow our heads to authority at the same rate. Yeah, I really think that.
I want you to dig deeper on that. Why do you think that is? Because I have an answer. I know why. Like, I can't just accept.
Well, for me, it's because I think that for a long time, especially as a Black person, you weren't expected to think. You weren't expected to have an opinion. You weren't expected. Like, when I listen to the things Granddad says about his job, I always say the same things to him, and I'd be like, man, I just could not imagine.
Yeah.
Because why would they do that? Like, where do they get off doing that? Why would they think that that's okay? Why this? Why that? Like, but to him,
he was like, nah, that's just how it is.
That's just the way that it is.
Nah,
right? And I think,
I'm going to be honest with you. So, in my opinion, the reason that we are why so much is because we've watched conventional wisdom fail us over and over and over again. When I think back to like our dad's generation, they were getting horrible advice from the people that came before them. And the people that came before them were getting horrible advice from the people that came before them. A lot of times, it's horrible advice specifically aimed at keeping you in whatever position you started in, so that the people who are giving you the advice can kind of work around the system that they understand. So when you see that that's the game that's being played, at that point, you're like, well, hold on.
Yeah, you're not about to play that game.
Right. You're not about to rig the rules against me and then tell me I have to play your rigged game. Like, no, hold on. Why do you get to start the Monopoly game with $1,000 extra? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I think when you see stuff like that happening, when you see over and over and over again, systems that are supposed to protect people fail, the housing crisis, the bank bailouts, things like our wars that seem to never end, even though nobody likes them, like things like that kind of jade you against being go along to get along. And I can't say that that I'm particularly mad at it. I think a lot of people are pretty
and I
justified.
think, okay. And so to veer the conversation back to Dad for a second, I think for us, Dad had a borderline impossible task of raising 3 boys the way he did.
Bruh.
But like, sometimes I think about the things we probably put in like for real.
Probably.
Because we were crazy, but like we weren't at the same time. We were pretty, you and I were pretty tame.
Yeah.
Eric was crazy.
Listen.
And
the funny thing is, you and I were tame except for the specific areas where we were. Well, like we were wild, but we were only wild out in like this very narrow band.
Right.
We was like, all right, we're not doing drugs. We're not out here partying and like running away from the house in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But we gonna do this stuff right
getting
here.
Arrested or getting in fights at school or anything. But at the same time, and Eric wasn't either, right? Eric was mostly just acting up at school. That was the main thing.
There was some of that, and there were some other wild boy activities.
Yeah, but Eric wasn't. Eric never got arrested. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I think what Dad kind of tried his best to instill in us was a couple of things, right? And even the same thing with our sister too. But like, one is that confidence in yourself to try to be the greatest you can be.
Yeah.
In this world that we live in, it's a difficult world out here.
And understanding why excellence is important.
Yeah. And understanding that, where we come from and what's expected of us is, like you said, excellence, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the, when I was younger, I didn't understand it sometimes. And I would get frustrated because I'd be like, man, I just feel like they push me so hard. And I'd just be like, why,
Right. Why
other
is it
people don't have to do all this.
right?
Why do
Why
I
is it
have
so
to do it?
important that I do this?
Yeah. And so now, as an adult, like I look back at some of those moments. I look back at some of those days and I like with fondness because I think, man, if dad wasn't just like, no, I'm not accepting that.
Yeah.
Try again. Yeah, I know you can do it. Like
It's
I think one of the
that
moments,
second part, bro.
One of those moments is when we played for the Steelers. We played football. And do you remember that year we played for the Steelers?
I mean, I remember playing for the Steelers.
Okay.
We weren't on the same team.
No, we weren't. You were playing for midget and I was playing junior midget.
Yeah.
And I remember, now I didn't like football.
Yeah.
I liked playing football with my friends, right? But being on a team requires a different type of discipline.
Yeah.
It requires a different type of working out.
Yeah.
It required a different level of commitment.
I do remember this because you hated.
I hated it.
You hated having to run the laps and do all of
And that's the thing. It wasn't that I hated organized sports because I liked baseball. I played basketball, Little League. I liked that.
Yeah.
I loved band, right?
So what was it about football you didn't like?
I think, honestly, if I could be honest, when I joined the team, when Dad signed us up, I think we got signed up like a week after it started, right?
So we were at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. And so when I started, I felt as though I was so out of shape. And I felt like all the guys playing were like a year and a half ahead of me.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, I remember the first day I got there, all the players were already exercising that
and they
day.
knew what to do.
They knew all the chants. They knew all the workouts in order. Like, I was like, man, like,
bro,
how long have they been doing this?
Do you know that's why I never liked football?
Yeah.
Because literally.
Me too.
Yeah, because like literally, I felt like that was my experience on every football team I got on. So you remember when we played Pop Warner the first time?
Yeah, I was playing flag that year.
Yes.
We were playing for the Spartans.
I was playing for the Spartans.
Yeah.
Okay.
We both were. But you weren't playing flag.
No, I was playing full tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a lineman.
What was that? Junior Pee-wee?
I don't know, bro. Yeah, listen, don't ask me to lie to you.
No, because I'm saying it was flag, then junior Pee-wee, junior midget. And I played junior midget for the Steelers.
Yeah.
I played flag. And then there was that time Mom signed us up, and then we moved.
We didn't end up actually playing
that when I
season.
played Pee-wee, I think, that year.
I feel like you were supposed to play with Pee-wee, yeah. Because I think I was supposed to move up to the next
you
tier.
were playing Pee-wee that year. I remember that.
Because
when I played flag.
Before.
Okay, so you played junior Pee-wee when I played flag. Okay.
Yeah, because we were only ever one tier apart. But like,
oh, okay, all right.
There was just a feeling because because I was slow, they'd always make me a lineman. So they like, oh well, you're gonna be a lineman, and I'm like, bro,
no, it's because he was big.
Okay, no,
it wasn't just because you were slow.
Here's the problem:
if you were that slow and super skinny, they wouldn't have made you a lineman.
Okay, but here's the problem: I won't that big.
Was it?
Yes, I wasn't that big when I was playing junior Pee-wee. I was a little kid. They put me.
We were still not small. At least. There were much smaller kids.
Okay,
I'm not saying. I think you're misinterpreting fat with big.
No.
I'm not saying you were that big.
Okay,
I'm saying that
I was
we weren't
small in comparison to all the other linemen on my team and all the other linemen on the other teams. I was just too slow to play any of the other positions.
No, I never. Okay.
So what would happen is I'm too slow, so they put me on lineman. But it's not like I really wanted to be lineman. So then I was like not good at it. Mm-hmm. So then now I'm riding the bench as a lineman, which is like the worst feeling. Then they put you in for like 2 plays because they got to put everybody in, and then they bring you back out and put out the kids who actually
want
play
to
football.
Be linemen.
No, not even necessarily wanted to be linemen. Just like the kids who had like dads who were like coaches really or like really into football in a way that like our parents just weren't because they didn't have time or whatever. Like we were never like football people like that.
The thing was, right? I was talking to one of my coworkers about this on Friday. Mm-hmm. So her son wants to play whatever. Not her son wants to play. Her child's father wants him to play football. Yeah. Okay. Now the boy is 1. So I don't even understand how this is a conversation. But apparently he's a coach. Okay?
You got to start prepping.
Yeah, he's 1. Like, and they're in full-on arguments. But anyway,
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Okay,
or something like that.
Probably not. But okay, so the kid is 1, and he's a coach of like little league teams.
Yeah,
and he's saying that his league has a 3 to 5 year old league.
Yeah.
And so she asked me, "You ever heard of a 3-year-old playing on a football team?" And I was like, I feel like I was 4 when I played flag.
You were.
But
it's 3 to 5.
I don't know if it was 3, Elliot. I think it was 4, 5, and 6 on flag. But then again, it was a long time ago. Like, it doesn't matter. The point that I'm making is, she's saying, I don't want him to be so excited because he has a son that he's going to shove him on a football team when he might not want. What if he wants to do fashion? And what if he wants to do this and do that?
I'm
like, look.
Hold on.
And
you said it straight?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. So I explained to her, first of all, I don't know if Dad knows this. One of the most impactful moments of my life so far was the day after my first practice on the Steelers.
Where he didn't let you quit.
Yeah. I remember I ran this lap. They told all of us to run one lap. That was it. Now, this is my first practice. I was completely out of shape. This is before band. This is before drum major. This is before baseball when I was in shape. Like, it's before all that. No, I was moving so slow. And I was not a slow runner. But, like, this was my first day. I had the pads on, the helmet on.
I remember.
And I remember because after that practice, all laps, they made me run it in the front of the line for the rest of the season. And I remember at the end of the season, I would run super fast. They would be trying to keep up with me.
Yeah.
They put me in the front of the pack.
That's good coaching right there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, actually, it was. We won. We were 9-1 that season. We went to North Carolina for the championship, destroyed that team.
I remember that.
But anyway, we were staying without Andrea because it was in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So,
I remember that.
But that day, I cried. I went home. I was 9, 10, whatever. And I told Dad, I said, Dad, I don't want to do this. And he said, oh, you're going to do it. And he said, but come here and talk to me first. And so we went in there, and I think in the back of his mind, he's like, oh, I paid for it. Oh, you're going to play. But let me explain to you.
My money.
But let me explain to you why you're going to play. And Dad had a deep conversation with me about how we don't quit. Now, you can not like it. You can say, I don't want to play next year. You can, all these different things. But Dad said, but one thing we do is we start it and we finish it.
You know what's funny? I think he had that exact same conversation with me in a different context. I'm trying to remember what it was. It might have been football.
It probably was because both of us hated it. Like, I enjoyed baseball.
Nah.
But I enjoyed basketball. We played Little League.
No,
but
okay,
I hated
hold
football,
on.
bro.
I think it actually might have been the baseball conversation.
Oh, I loved it.
No, because I hated baseball for the same reason. Because I was slow. And
see, but I never had that problem.
Okay.
I was a big boy, but I wasn't slow.
Here's the problem, okay? When I say I'm slow, I don't mean I'm slow like
I
overall.
think you just didn't want to do it. So you weren't pushing yourself to run super fast. You weren't doing all that.
No. I just was on teams with phenomenal athletes. So what kept happening is I would be on these nationally ranked type players like teams. So like and
they out there going
out there going crazy. And I'm like, bro, I can't run that fast. So then I just run something approximating as fast as I can run. And then I'm like, well, it's still slow. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit more. And the version of the conversation that I recall was something along the lines of, oh, well, listen, are you actually trying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at the kids that are out there starting, are you trying as hard as they're trying? And
I definitely was not.
I wasn't either. And that was the thrust of the conversation. He was like, well, yeah, so you're going to be where you're going to be at. If you really want to be out there, you can do it, son, but you have to want it like that. And if you don't want it, that's fine too. But
you ain't going to quit.
But you're not just going to give up just because you're not the best if you're not actually putting out effort to be the best. You need to actually try.
We started this conversation talking about us wanting to be the best and stuff. It's always something. All right. So I'll give you my example.
We've circled all the way back around to where it came from.
So when I played baseball, okay, the trophy's at Dad's house. It's still in the mantle.
All my incorrectly named trophies are there.
Now, my baseball, so all of the players, when I played baseball, we actually got a baseball with your award on it.
Yeah.
You got an award.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. I look at it all the time because your name's spelled right.
Yeah, you used to make fun of me because of the award I got, but I got the most improved player award. And you used to make fun of me like, no. I was like, no, this means that I was the best at the end. He's like, no, this means that you sucked in the beginning.
Right, that means you're the worst at the start.
But the thing is, right, so I started that season out, and I never played baseball, and I played on a team with all kids. This was like their third season.
So they were like legacy baseball kids.
Yeah, like kids that never played football before.
Yeah.
They never played basketball before. They never played anything else. Never played soccer as little kids. And I used to ask them, I played football already. What'd you guys do? And they all said, oh, no, I've never done anything but baseball.
Yeah, I just play baseball.
And I said, well, I really actually enjoy this sport, so I'm going to try it. And I really tried. And, it was funny. I was on one of those little just middle of the road C+ teams.
Yeah.
We weren't killing it, but we were doing good.
But
we won
y'all
some
were
games.
Trying. Y'all were having fun.
No, it was the Cubs. You remember
yes.
TJ's team?
Yes, I do
With
remember.
that kid Bryce that was throwing those stupid fastballs.
That man thought he was going to the majors, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in the little league little championship thing.
Yeah, the Nationals or whatever. Yeah.
But that was my moment of, oh, you don't have to give me the conversation about not quitting. No.
Nah,
I'm going to get the best at this. And I tried Elliot, I tried
you know what's funny? Like, so now I'm thinking of when did the switch flip, right? Because like I was never passionate about sports. I was never trying to be on top at sports.
Yeah.
Oh, but when I joined ROTC though.
Yeah. You made it to the top of ROTC. You were the top student in the school.
I made it to Corps Commander. And I made what happened was I started in freshman year and I saw the Corps Commander and I was like, I could do a better job than that.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
I don't even listen. My competitive drive was just like, oh nah, I'm gonna be Corps Commander. Hold on, watch me do this. So literally in 3 years, because the other people had been doing it for 4 years, and I was like, no, I'm gonna do it in 3. So I think freshman year I took summer school English so that I could do ROTC.
Oh, you needed it.
Sophomore year, yeah. So I had to take the extra credit so I could free up the extra slot a year early.
Because you had to take band class and you had to take gym.
And the only way to fit that extra class in there without giving up band was to
push another class out the way
and take it over the summer. So that's what I did.
I didn't even know you did that.
Yes. So I took English over the summer my freshman year into sophomore year so I could be in the ROTC. Then I joined ROTC and I was like, I could be Corps Commander. So I was ROTC'd up, bro. I was like doing the now I can't think of what it's called. The
flag?
No, it's not a flag. It's like the rifle marching thing, but I can't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah. You talking about for the competitions,
yes.
Right? Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Literally, I was on the team. We go
the rifle twirlers and stuff.
We weren't.
It was more about just marching and precision.
It was precision.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing the twirling because I wasn't gonna drop that thing or worse, hit myself in the face with it. Listen, bro, I done seen some stuff. So I was on the team that actually did the executing the commands like as a unit, and that was cool. And then the hardest part of making Corps Commander was that I had to be able to run a mile in 9 minutes. And when I tell you. Oh, yes, I did. It was hard. I ran a minute in 8 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
It was my fastest mile time in my life, bro.
I ran a mile in 10th grade gym. It's the last year of gym.
Yeah.
I think my mile was 8 minutes and 4 seconds, something like that.
Why you had to beat me? I was feeling all good about my.
Nah, that was me genuinely. No, I'm really trying. I was keeping up with the athlete.
What you think I was taking it easy?
No. I wasn't comparing myself to you. I was comparing myself to the kids on the basketball team in my gym class.
Well, now I'm comparing my own self to you, and I'm trying to figure out how you ran a mile in 8 minutes and 4 seconds.
You want to know how, for real? The second lap, I ran the whole thing.
I ran the whole thing, all 4 laps.
No. So I jogged the first lap, right? So it was quick, right? But the second lap, I ran that lap.
You sprinted it.
Yeah. Well, no, I would have died. No, there's a difference between running and sprinting. Sprinting, you're pushing yourself to the max till you get somewhere. No, I jogged, right? Steady pace on the first lap, right? And then as soon as I crossed the threshold for the second lap, all right, I took off. Now I'm not jogging anymore. I'm actually running. And then the third lap, I went back to my steady pace. And then the fourth lap, I kept the steady pace until I got halfway done. And then I sprinted the last of it. Yeah. So, but that second lap,
I literally used the same strategy.
The second lap in about a minute and a half. That cutting that time is what was like, okay, now you all right.
Hey.
But the hardest for me was the drum major thing.
Yeah. No. All I knew is I needed a 9-minute mile time, and I got that. So then I was Corps Commander. That's all I knew. Got my face on the wall.
So similar to that, when we were in high school. I remember thinking to myself in band, I used to be like, man, without putting any names out, we don't have very good drum majors anymore. You remember the swap when James left?
That's still a small group because you about to X James out. Yeah. So now that's only gonna leave like 6 or 8 people.
But
so
but to
people
be fair,
to see this,
you know that the band changed after
it did.
2008. And I think it wasn't the drum majors were the complete reason.
No.
But what I think was happening was, one, the culture of the band changed. 2, the leadership of the band did change, which made a big difference. Yeah. But the culture changed. And I remember when I first got in the band, and you probably remember when James was drum major and how everybody used to be scared. You remember walking in the band room and be all super quiet. And it was,
well, okay. But so what you didn't experience was how James had that band.
Yes, I did. I marched in the band in 2008. Not just in the spring.
You didn't march with Head and Devin.
No, I marched with Devin in 7th grade, though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So when Head was still there.
I remember Head, though.
Listen, okay.
Because remember he used to come to our house and hang out. Was it you? Or with Dad or something?
No, he definitely hung out. I think he came to help me with my music specifically because I was struggling.
Why? That's weird.
He played trombone. No, it wasn't, because I was in band and I could not keep up. And I was like, bro, I need help. And he was like, oh, I'll just come by. And literally he would come by because he played trombone. And he would help me with my sight reading, and he would help me actually like be able to figure out the notes on trumpet. And he got me to the point where I could perform because I didn't have the music.
Yeah, that's back when Chekhov's was for real.
Was for real. Like, hey, you don't check off, you're not marching.
My section Chekhov's was still for real.
I mean, and that's so in my section Chekhov's was for real because when he there was
when I first got to bed, everybody except for like flutes and clarinet.
It was a thing, but there was a culture of ownership of the band where Mr. Woodis was the band director, but he didn't own the band.
Yeah.
Like, he was the adult that made sure we weren't, doing anything.
Each other, yeah.
Right. We weren't doing anything we weren't supposed to be doing, and we was where we were supposed to be and all that sort of stuff. But, like, the drum majors owned the band.
Yeah.
So, like, if you weren't practicing, they were going to call you out. And you expected not only to be called out, but for everybody to look at you like, what's wrong with you?
And the repercussions were real.
Yeah.
Because not just them looking at you, and it's so funny, right? So you and I probably, honestly, we'll look back at those moments with fondness at this point because it's kind of like, that level of accountability made you want to produce something greater.
Because, and the accountability always had to be paired with like the support of, hey, listen, we're not being hard on you because we think you suck. We're being hard on you because you suck right now, and we know you can be better.
Yes.
And if you want to be a part of this group, we require that you give us the better that we know you can do. So like you had those two pieces and they were married together in a really beautiful way. And then at some point, the we know you can do better kind of started to fall back, which is why the other part, the accountability, started to fall back. Because if you don't have this piece, this is bullying.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, sometimes I hear older people talk about, we need to bring bullying back in schools. But like, no, you can't bring bullying back in schools
without bringing,
you gotta have like some amount of accountability for the bullies that, hey, listen, y'all only gonna take it so far. You're gonna, enforce some kind of like basic street rules. Like, you ain't gonna be beating up on the smallest kid. No, you're gonna beat up on people who beat up on people to show you're the baddest one. Like, that's the bullying we might be able to bring back. But you can't do that because the culture of, we know you can do better, we expect better of you, and we want you to be a part of us. We just have some requirements first. Like, that's a really powerful thing. And in my opinion, that's like what we're missing culturally. Like, that's why there's so many people who are super depressed and stuff, is because like you've divorced those two messages from each other.
And I think one day we should have a serious discussion about band in high school.
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna and really talk about like everything.
Bro,
like,
it was so formative.
Because one thing that I know about the band at the high school that we went to is, and then honestly,
it was high step.
Oh yeah, big time. But one thing that I know about the band we marched in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I first got there, right? And I think the culture is a lot different now.
Yeah.
But a lot of things are different. And I keep saying, COVID ruined a lot of things too.
Yeah,
but,
true.
Like, I think back at those moments of, you remember Staples being super hard on me.
Bruh.
And you remember James being hard on the band.
Yeah.
You remember the pride that not just Mr. Woodis and the drum majors or the section leaders would have,
but the whole band,
everyone would have, and how it would weed out people that weren't really serious.
Because like, it's really hard to stay somewhere that has a culture of excellence, that has an expectation. Hey, listen, if you're not doing it, like, we're going to make sure that you know that you're not doing it and that we know that you can do better.
Yeah.
And we're not going to allow you to do anything less. So like there's something really important. And I like, people are like, oh, well, you know, school just feels different. Like, I think this is why extracurricular activities are so important, and why, you know, being a part of team sports or whatever you're doing is so important, because like there's something about that accountability piece that, oh, we are going to make you a part of us, but we're going to make you do better to get there. Like, you're going to have to earn it a little bit. Like, there were some people who would come in the band and be like, oh, no, y'all too serious about this. I can't do this.
Yeah. You remember the main was the dance girl section.
Yes.
So you remember at spring band every year, it'd be 40 girls back there.
And like the outfits. Oh, y'all, you know, y'all get to do makeup. And
y'all get to hang out with the drummers. Yeah, it's and so y'all cute. This. Y'all, nah, bro. And they getting it lit back there.
And them dance coaches was hard on them, bro. Yeah. It was horrifically hard.
It was worse when you were out of the band, they got that new dance coach from Virginia State, Miss D.
Oh, was she even harder? Because I don't even remember who the dance coach was when I was there.
It was Miss Sean. Yeah, that was the lady from Norfolk State. She dated Dr. Zach, or was married to Dr. Zachary. And you know, he's band director at Prairie View now.
I didn't know.
He was the trumpet instructor at Norfolk State.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he's at Prairie View, and they're massive. They're like,
I believe that,
290 people deep.
Jeez. In high school?
No, it's a college.
I don't know what Prairie View is.
It's in Texas. I was going to go there until Virginia State sent me that big old scholarship.
Listen, you got to go where the money's at.
Yeah. So, but I think that when, like, the dance girls, when I was a senior, with Sierra Maddox and all of them, like, they were. You just
gonna throw her whole government out there.
I'm throwing your. They won everything. They was killing the game.
Yeah,
and like,
because they were like first place in multiple events.
They would win first place when the band wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
You know? But like, I remember just seeing people that regular students that had no background in dance, no background in flag or anything like that.
Right,
and you could tell. You could tell people that think they're gonna become a drummer, and people that think they're gonna be a dance girl.
They come in and don't realize, like, hey, listen, this is not
a cakewalk.
It's not
run.
Yeah, it's not a game. Like, you can't just come in here and think you're gonna be a main character if you're not putting in work to be the main character.
And it's real work. And like, I remember being in band and I would laugh. Like when spring band would start
on day one, because you see all these hopeful faces, like, oh yeah,
and then we go outside, run 2 laps,
and be like,
and they're still out there, and the whole band
came back in, and they still.
We lined up. You know, we lined up in parade block to go back inside,
right?
And they still running from back, bruh. No,
there was no worse feeling than, like, you get done with your lap and now you supposed to be back in formation, and we're supposed to be at attention, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm so tired, and you're trying to breathe, but you're trying to keep still because you're not
first week of summer band camp running,
bro.
When you've been on summer break for a couple weeks,
you know, you eating garbage,
sitting on the couch,
house playing Call of Duty,
drinking soda.
Now you got to work all that off.
I remember that year we was with Mom for the summer. Until you went to band camp. That's when they brought us back. And you kept saying, man, I'm dreading band camp next month. Man, I'm dreading band camp next week.
Because I knew, bro. I knew. I was like, bro, I ain't worked out. And the correct answer, see, and this is, if I really had internalized all the lessons I probably should have, I would have been training over the summer, so I wouldn't have been so out of shape.
It's so crazy
when band camp came around. But it didn't even occur to me.
That is so difficult for me.
What
because
do you mean?
Band was so easy to me.
Okay.
It's like, I think about, when I first got in the band in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And I think about how much I was like, I really didn't know what I was doing. Like, I struggled to hold the instrument up because it was very heavy.
Yeah.
Right? I was a little kid.
Because you played tenor sax, right?
Yeah. And I struggled first year.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, 8th grade, like, after that spring band was over, summer band camp in 8th grade, yes, she was very hard on me, but
she was hard on you because, like, you were
super hard on me.
But you were, like, this far from being where she saw you could get to.
Yeah.
And you were being lazy, which I think really pissed her off.
Nah, it wasn't. Wait. Some of that, she was just being hard on me because I would know the music and she would go crazy.
Okay, there's part of it
was lazy.
No, the part you were missing is she really didn't like me. And you just didn't know that.
She didn't like you?
I guess not.
I didn't even know that.
To just never... I don't think it was like you're a terrible person.
For her.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's fair.
There are lots of people who just randomly didn't like me. And if I'm being fair to those people, okay, I was kind of insufferable. Like, yes.
You were a little insufferable sometimes.
Listen, I had some personality traits that I really had to grow out of.
I was relatively likable, but I guess I wasn't until I got to college.
You were a lot like me in all the problematic ways. So, like, we always felt like we knew more than we did. We were always too smarmy about stuff. We were, like, sarcastic.
Because I didn't have that problem in college. Everyone, like, I feel like most people, not everyone.
By the time...
Most people loved me
By the time we went through high school band, we worked at Firehouse. Yeah. We did all the stuff that we did at home, at church, etc. Like, we had grown out of most of the worst habits by the time we got to college. So, like, by the time I got to college, I was a pretty likable person. It was very few people who were just like, oh, no, I don't like that dude. By the time I got to college. But, like, high school? No, it was a lot of people who were like, oh Elliot. So... But, like, yeah, no, that probably didn't help you. So I'm sorry about that. But I think the reason that I struggled so much, and I won't even say struggle, because, like, once I started playing baritone, like, I was pretty much the best.
So you were struggling with trumpet?
So I was struggling from 7th grade all the way up to probably maybe 9th or 10th grade.
Really?
And so there was a combination of things that were happening. So one was I was never a very strong music reader. Like, it just never...
Really? I didn't know any of that.
Okay. I could never intuitively understand, because I couldn't, like, I struggle to sight read because I don't translate music when I'm reading it. Like, when you read a book, you don't have to think about the words that you're reading anymore because you understand how to read. When I was playing music and I would read it off the page, I have to think about every single note that I'm playing, and I have to transpose the note that's on the page to the note that I need to play on the instrument, and then I would have to actually do the action to play the note on the instrument. So, like, sight reading for me was virtually impossible. Like, I could not sight read.
I don't know why this is like so
this is
difficult for me to understand.
So because do you remember I would try out for all district every year?
Because all city you just get selected.
Yeah, I think did you make it to all district one year?
I never tried. I never wanted to.
You know what's crazy? You would have made it. I tried out every single year and I never made it. The closest
because when I went to all city, the two guys that played tenor sax, one was at Kings Fork, and one was at Lakeland,
and they were really good.
No.
So you definitely should have tried.
Yeah, but there wasn't that many people my age playing tenor sax specifically in Suffolk.
Yeah.
So how many do you think it was in the district? Not that many, maybe 7, 8.
They're all in Chesapeake. That's why.
No, I know, but what I'm saying
it's more than 7 or 8.
If both of them made district, that means it wasn't that many.
Well,
because there's not but 4 seats
did
on
they
the
both
district.
Make district?
Yes, and they're both from Suffolk. That means
that's kind of wild.
There's not that there. I think there was 4 seats of tenor sax.
I mean, you still should have tried out.
I should have, right? And I remember one year I really was going to, and I practiced and practiced. It's just do you remember the district sheet music Mr. Willis would give out?
Yes, and it was so hard.
It would be ridiculous.
Yes.
And I was always like, I'm not doing this.
But
every year I would try it, and I'm not doing this.
So here was the point, right? So I would try it for district every year, but I never made district because I would do really well on the prepared piece. I would do decently well, or I would do really well on my scales because I knew my scales. I'd do well on the prepared piece because I'd actually practiced it. I would listen to how it was played. I'd understand kind of where the dynamics were supposed to swell and go down, and I would kind of try to play it with emotion, and I worked on my timbre so that the sound coming out of the horn was actually pleasant to the ear. But then I would try and sight read, and literally it would sound like an elephant falling downstairs on a tuba. Okay, it was just.
I'm sorry, but this is so shocking,
bro.
To me, I always used to brag about how perfect we were at music.
No, okay, I was a fantastic tuba player. Once I had time to prepare, I could play any piece of music you put in front of me. Matter of fact, my junior and senior year, I was playing some of the hardest tuba pieces that I could get my hands on, just to prove that I could do it. So
I just didn't know that you struggled because my sight reading, right?
Yeah.
So I honestly would say my sight reading didn't get where it needed to be until college. When I got to Virginia State Band, like, because you're getting so much music,
you were being forced to get better at
it. And it's deeper than that. It's not just that you're forced to do it. Basically, everything you do is sight reading. Because if I give you 3 sheets of music today, and we have to play them today, but tomorrow I'm giving you another 2 sheets of music,
like, you ain't got time to practice.
No.
Because we're not going over them 3. You should already know them. We did them yesterday.
Tomorrow, when I give you those 2 new ones, we're playing those tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it was almost like literally, we got so much music.
You can't be in the band if you can't sight read.
Yeah, it's not. No, that's not true. but what I'm saying is, like, you literally are sight reading every day. It wasn't like at Nansemond where we got music, and to be honest, we got more music than a lot of high schools.
We did, but you would get the music way in advance. You had plenty of time to practice.
7 sheets of music at once.
Yeah.
No, Virginia State, you was getting 2 a day.
That's great.
And then, like, your book would be so full of music, or your folder, or whatever you got.
The book falling apart because the sheets, the rings can't hold the sheets no more.
I used to tell my section leader, 3. All it needs 3 good times. If you give me 3 good times to play this sheet of music top to bottom, I'm gonna memorize it.
And you know what's funny? I will say I was bad at sight reading, but I got much. Listen, that's what I was good at. So like I could memorize a piece of music, just like you said, 3 good times. We played through it. Now I got it.
In college, I could sight read anything. Anything.
Nah, that was not my test.
Like I remember he would give us this music, and I'm gonna go up on a tangent for a second about college band.
Okay.
So in the HBCU band, right? I loved it, but it's a lot, and you know your section is like your brothers and sisters. Okay. Right. So all of the rookies in the saxophone section, we were 1. Okay. So if we doing good, we all doing good.
If we not,
if we doing bad, we all doing bad.
One bad.
Aaron doesn't do bad,
of course.
So
now you got to be a bully.
No. The problem was I had really, really cool people in the section with me, but I had a specific person that wasn't, let's just say, up to snuff.
Right.
Okay. And so it was difficult because I told them, I just told you, Elliot, I memorized all my music mad quick. Right. And they knew that. But I would tell them, look, let's have special rehearsals so that when band practice starts at 3, you guys we all got together and been practicing for maybe an hour a day or something.
Right.
But the one that needed the practice
would never show up.
Would not come.
Of course.
So I remember we used to get in trouble for that. So they would ask me every night.
Sounded like you need to vote somebody off the island.
It's like, why you know your music and they don't? All right, we doing push-ups. I remember it used to happen. Every night it would happen. It'd be like, why you know your music and they don't? All right, I guess we're going over it again. Why you know your music and it used to drive me crazy. Like,
listen,
it would drive me like.
You had crazy upper body strength though.
You ain't lying. Because I did more push-ups. I did more push-ups than you could imagine.
Thought you was in basic, didn't you?
But the thing is, that conversation with Dad about not quitting,
bro. And even now, even today, like I was talking earlier about how I don't love my job and I think about it. I've had some serious like contemplations about, man, I gotta quit this job. I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave. I'm gonna make it like a movie scene. I don't need this.
My woman has 2 jobs.
Exactly. No, so nah. But I talked to Dad even then. I was like, man, I don't know if I really want to stay at this job. He's like, well, listen, you don't want to just quit. Think about what it is that you don't like about the job. Think about what it is that you feel like you're not getting, and see if there are ways that you can address those things. And it helped. You know, I still got some reservations. I still got some issues that I'm working through. But at the end of the day, the conversations that I think we have had with Dad, like over the years, have been really, really, really formative. They give you a perspective and they give you like a direction to head to. Like they give you kind of an example of like what being a man is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Like, and even if you can't always live up to that, like sometimes I give up on stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Right. Yeah. Like everybody does. But like understanding principally that like at the end of the day, what you're aiming for is like, if you set out to do something, you need to do everything within your power to accomplish that goal. Because at the end of the day, the only person that's going to hold you properly to account is you.
Yeah. Yeah,
you are the only person who can really make you do anything that that you put your mind to. And as long as you know that that's the case, like it's really powerful and it's really scary, because then if you fail, like you always feel like it's your fault. But when you succeed, like, okay, there were things that I did to contribute to this. Obviously, you got to give it to God, because like there's a whole set of circumstances that you have no control over. Like nobody came in and shot you that day. Like it could have happened. So you gotta give credit where it's due for the stuff that you have no control over. But the stuff that you have control over, when you are putting your effort in to make changes, to bring positive outcomes to your life, like I think that's really affirming. And I think a lot of people would probably really benefit from having somebody in their life to be able to like instill that message in them. So, hopefully somebody watching will hear it from us and maybe they'll take it to heart.
Yeah. And if your dad is still alive, call them, tell them you love them.
Tell them you love them, man.
Because a good dad a trying dad,
bro,
a dad,
point blank
is nothing wrong with moms, and we'll get on moms soon.
Yeah, yeah.
But
as men,
I don't think that dads get the recognition they deserve,
because everybody thinks every dad is Peter Griffin, and I can tell you for a fact that's not the case.
Yeah, and good dads don't. Like Pastor Ben always used to talk about how Mother's Day, moms get cruises and they get taken out to eat.
Father's Day, you get a tie.
You get a tie and some socks,
right?
Like, real talk.
You got
a good dad is a blessing,
bro.
And we don't have kids yet, but I would hope
when we do
that we would mirror not just our dad, but our grandfather, our dad.
Take the good stuff.
That's as far back as we need to go.
Yeah, pretty much. We gonna stop right there.
We start reaching the
pump the brakes. But even on mom's side, Pop out and
he took care of his family.
Hey, listen,
Jacob takes care of his family. Like, it's important, man. You need to understand. Like, I want to make sure I emphasize, like, when you're talking about being a real father, you're instilling things in your kids that even as grown men,
they're going to look back at.
They don't have to do it.
Nope.
But you look at that and you're like, I'm doing what he told me when I was 9. Not because I have to, but because that's the advice that I needed.
Right. And it has positively influenced my life. So, but listen, man, this has been the Pencil Brother Podcast. We're going to close it out on that. I'm Elliot.
This is Aaron.
And we are out.